Hello and welcome. There are a number of classic PC games that I only knew existed very recently. One of them is Blood, the first-person shooter, which is in the Source engine, just like Duke Nukem. It's a grim gothic horror first-person shooter. It is Duke Nukem. It is to Duke Nukem what Hexen is to Doom. You play as an undead cowboy called Caleb, a former member of a cabal, worshippers of a dark Chernobog. Okay, never mind. You have failed him somehow. It never really goes into much detail of that. And he kills your fellow worshippers and makes off with your lover, and then buries you. Now, if you are a failing god, which not many people know about, killing those who worship you may not be the best plan, as they're probably the ones that are aware of your existence. Also, with Duke Nukem getting an updated sequel, even if it was somewhat underwhelming, and Shadow Warrior getting a full reboot as on its third game in this new series, it is a crying shame Blood hasn't had that yet, and it needs one. It needs one desperately. Blood is incredible. It's funny, and it's a fun and funny first-person shooter. Caleb's maniacal laughter when he blows an enemy to bits is delightful bit of psychopathy. The game is gory and violent and everything in a game like Blood needs to be. It's fast-paced and atmospheric. The shooting is wonderfully over the top, enemies being blown apart, and the zombie next dumps spurting blood after you decapitate him with a headshot, and finally being able to kick the said decapitated head when you walk up to it. You can hear zombies saying brains when you are near them. The cultist's mindless muttering is weird and silly. It controls well, and like Shadow Warrior and Duke Nukem, every weapon is fun to use. It is also a very hard game, though I would say it is harder than Duke Nukem, but not as hard as Shadow Warrior. Brutally as well, if I'm honest. The first level is one of the hardest, as you don't get the better guns to use, and you're stuck with a flare gun, pitchfork and TNT. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's worth it when you get the other guns. Also, there's just blowing people up with TNT is incredibly fun, and watching them just immolate when you hit them with a flare gun after a few seconds, again, enjoyable. I think I have issues. Graphically, it looks pretty good. I mean, I'd complain about Doom, but Night Dive, get these words out, did a great job with a remaster, or update, or HD update, or whatever it is. The pixel art looks amazing, and it's so crisp. You can really see the violence, and it's enjoyable. The levels look amazing and interesting to explore. The variety is insane. And I'm not even joking. The first is in a funeral home, then a fun fair. Then there's also a level where you're on a boat, a train, a castle. It's just an insane amount of levels in here. And like the old Source Engine games, Blood is separated by episodes, and you can play these in any order, and they're all very enjoyable. Though, to be honest with you, there is several difficulty levels as well. You've got, and they're all kind of pun intended and all that, and playing it on the hardest is just brutal, and it'll make you cry. It is so difficult and fun because there's just so many enemies coming at you, which is why you need some of the guns. Just using a pitchfork, you will cry. And then, of course, when you drop an enemy and he finally dies, I mean, when a zombie finally dies and doesn't get back up, they sometimes drop their heart, which is your health. There's other health packs, but that is another way of forming health, is actually by eating your enemy's hearts. Aren't you great that Caleb's the good guy in this game? Just so you know. Throughout the Blood, there's many pop culture references too, though many have aged now. The game is over 20. So pop culture has changed a lot. Some jokes will have obviously aged not well at all, and others will be pretty still on point. As with other Source Engine games, there are plenty of secrets to find too, and they're all quite cool when you see them. One of my favourite secrets I found early on was in the second episode, and that's the voodoo doll weapon. It's just cool. A voodoo doll weapon is just so imaginative, as with so many other weapons like hairspray and a lighter. Yeah, that's a weapon in this game, by the way. Now, to the importance of, is it good? Is it fun? And should you play it? And the answers are yes, yes, and oh hell yeah. Blood is so fun and silly, and dark, and gothic. It's all mixed into one. It's like an Army of Darkness game. It's no, not like an Army of Darkness game exactly, but as you know what I mean, right? Basically, it's like Army of Darkness and all those fun comedies we had, horror comedies we had back in the 90s and 80s. it's all listening to his game, and there's so many references to them too, and it never takes itself too seriously. It even knows the plot of rescuing the princess is a bit played out at this point. So you should give Blood a go. I have it on Steam where I had no issues except a bit of a frame rate drop. Nothing so serious it took away my enjoyment of this excellent shooter. I am glad I was introduced to Blood, even if it was nearly 30 years later. Yeah, it is an old game, and it's very much worth playing. And though I will have to say this, one of the most funniest things is the old FMV, the full movie video. It's not, it's a CGI video. It's just so bad. It makes the Sultans. Why am I saying Sultans and Swing? Status Quo. It was Status Quo video. Money for nothing. Look, absolutely great. CGI is just funny and terrible, and it's just amusing to see it 30 years later and see how far we've got with graphics just on that CGI screen. Sitting alone, it's just superb. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, hope you like, comment, and subscribe. What's your favourite sort of first-person shooter? What games have you played which you don't think many people have heard of? Or maybe if it's a classic game that you've played and doesn't get enough love. What is that? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all very soon.